All right, welcome. Thank God it is Memorial Day Eve weekend, the eve of the great Memorial Day. I want to take a quick moment of silence for all the ones who are falling before us and to giving us this blessing to be able to do podcasts and sports talk. So we'll do a quick moment of silence for them. All right. With that being said, today you guys have joined the best play in sports talk show radio and podcasting, Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse, the voice of the Chicago sports fan. Thank you all for helping us kick off the holiday weekend with us. And because of our brave souls that gave all, we get to enjoy sports talk, like I said before. So I'm your host for today. Leroy, aka Pinky the Phenom Pinkston. We have our guys, Darius, Mr. Lockhart himself. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
yo,
Now,
yo.
yes, Mr. Fashionable himself, BJ. And we have a very, very, very special guest today. Now, like they say, this man, you know what I'm saying, about as tough as they come. Tougher than a $2 steak, as they would say. Because being a wide receiver. Our special guest tonight is living inspirational proof that tough times don't last, but tough people do. He's an All-American wide receiver at Louisiana State University. Yes, sir. First round draft pick in 1988. I was in diapers. Golden glove speed merchant, like few receivers in the NFL has ever seen, and he is the powerful proof that if you put in the time to do it, even through injuries and adversity, nothing will ever hold you back. Living proof of that. Just put on the tape and you'll see what I mean. Trust me. And without further ado, Mr. Wendell Davis. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Pleasure being with you guys.
Yes, sir. All right. So we're gonna get these questions kicked off. I'm gonna let my friend here, Darius, because we backstage talking. I'm gonna let him go ahead and ask a quick question right off the bat for you.
Okay, well, before I ask this question, I want to give kudos to Mr. Davis. Wendell, correct?
Well, you know what? I'm in Louisiana right now. I came home to visit family. So
Okay.
I'm in Louisiana right now. When I'm in Louisiana, they call me Wendell.
Absolutely. I'm gonna call you Wendell because you in Louisiana, and I also read that it was in honor of your mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna call you Wendell.
Yeah, that's what she called me. So everybody, when I'm in Louisiana, they call me Wendell. But when I'm up north, other places they call me Wendell. So I go by both. So it doesn't matter.
Got you.
I was always told by my parents, it's Wendell, son. My mom's from Mississippi, so his mom's from Mississippi. We got family Louisiana, so that's how they pronounce it. So that's what I was always told. So
I want to congratulate you for being inducted into the Louisiana Hall of Fame.
Appreciate
just
it.
recently. And with that, I have the question of when did you realize and say, hey, I'm pretty good at this football thing?
Wow. Man, we got to go way back.
Let's go.
Yeah, I played. Just like a lot of guys growing up in the neighborhood, played sports in the neighborhood, man. And we played every sport there was. You played football, you played basketball. We didn't have a court. We made our own court. Mm-hmm. We played baseball. We even played golf, if you believe it or not. My dad used to bring home stuff from work, and he brought home a set of golf clubs, man. And we went out in this field and we dug a hole in the ground and, started hitting golf balls. But we played in the neighborhood just like, I played in the neighborhood just like all the other kids. Mm-hmm. And I started playing organized sports at a young age. Started out at the Boys and Girls Club. From there, started playing middle school on up through high school. So that thing. But I didn't realize that I was good at this, playing football, until probably in college.
Mm.
Yeah, in college. You know, I was never the biggest guy, never the fastest guy, but I was always the guy that worked hard. You know, I tried to improve on my game as much as I could, but in college, I really started honing in, and I had a pretty good coach in college who kind of told me what what I did well. And I just took that and I worked hard at it. And he said, you know what, you run routes really well. You're a good route runner, and I practiced on that and I worked hard on that. And then in college, I started getting, recognition,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and things just that kind of fell into place. And
Okay.
and I kind of figured that, in college, like, hey, man, maybe I can make it to the next level,
Okay.
It was kind of one of those things. But, I tell you the truth, I mean, I dreamed of playing professional football as a kid. But it was a dream, man. And, I just kept working hard and, things kept adding up, I got a ship to LSU. And I must say that LSU wasn't going to be my first choice.
Really?
I was not being heavily recruited by LSU, and they kind of came in at the last minute. I mean, I could have ended up at Grambling, also Northwestern State,
Okay.
down in Louisiana. Those the small schools, but LSU came in at the last minute and offered a scholarship, and I went down for a visit. And got down on that big campus, man, and it's like, whoa, I can compete down here. So, I chose LSU.
And that was gonna be my next small question because I don't want to hog up all of the questions. But being that you were from Shreveport, as far as the other programs, I know you mentioned Grambling. Eddie Robinson was down in Grambling at the time, correct? Okay, so they may have had a small chance, but I didn't think anyone else but LSU had a shot with you being from Shreveport.
Well, I was really heavy. I was really leaning toward Northeast Louisiana at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I went down and visited them, but I was really leaning toward Northeast Louisiana. I did visit Grambling. I got to sit in Eddie Robinson's office and shaking my boots, but I ultimately I decided to go to LSU. But I almost went to Northeast. Northeast was going to be my first choice until LSU stepped in.
Wow. There you have it, LSU. Y'all got lucky. So, with that being said, what receivers influenced and inspired your game growing up? Who did you look up to as you were, evolving?
Oh man,
coming up.
So growing up in Shreveport, Louisiana, you grow up in what they call the architects, right? Because we're right there in the corner of Louisiana. We butted up against Arkansas and Texas. And they call it the architects, right? So architects, and you get the Saints or you get the Cowboys, right? So I grew up. The Saints were really bad back then, so everybody gravitated toward the Dallas Cowboys because they're closer to Shreveport than New Orleans is.
Okay.
And so I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I was a big fan of Drew Pearson.
Oh, okay.
Drew Pearson was my childhood hero. And, I used to love to watch him play. Drew Pearson and Preston Pearson, that whole receiving squad. And funny thing, Drew Pearson was actually working with the Cowboys when I was drafted.
Wow.
And he came out to LSU to work me out. And needless to say, I choked, man. Because that's probably why I didn't go play at the Cowboys, because I stunk up the place.
Too many nerves, huh?
Yeah, nerves got to me, man. But I was a big Drew Pearson fan, man. Big Drew Pearson fan. He's one of those guys that I kind of patterned my game out of after. He wasn't the biggest or the fastest, but he was productive, and he got the job done, and he made big plays for his team at big times, and so that's why I really looked up to him.
Okay.
All right. Got any questions for him, BJ? We got a question for him?
I do. So, what was the biggest X factor that made Wendell Davis All-American in college?
The X factor. I would contribute that to. I would say it was the. I couldn't do it by myself. It was the team we played. We had a chemistry on that team that was I think really was the X factor for me because we had some good players at all positions, and we were very competitive, right? And everybody wanted to eat. And, everybody wanted to win. So, and I think that just helped me get better as a player. I knew what I had to do to put myself in the best position to help the team win. Mm-hmm. And after being voted as a captain, and that put more weight on your shoulders. So I just think having that chemistry with the team, my teammates, really helped me to be the best that I could be, because I wanted us to be the best team we could be, and we was always striving for a national championship when we played.
Okay.
Right on. Thank you. All right. Before we get to our next question, I just want to let all our friends know that Bridges Scorecard is your Northwest Indiana Chicago sports headquarters with all the Hall of Fame menu and the coldest beer in the Chicagoland area. To prep your next Chicago sports night, visit them at bridgesscoreboard.com or call them up locally. You know how to do it. It's best to get them online, get that menu, do what you got to do to get them eat. And by the way, we got the 75-cent wings. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's Thursday and Friday. Come on, BJ, look, man. I'm just letting the people know. Like I know I'm letting my fat brother inside. Just let it go, you know. But hey,
I understand.
Scoreboard is the place to be. Like I said, the Northwest Indiana. That's all Griffith, Indiana. If you need to know the actual area, Griffith, Indiana, it's the Chicago sports headquarters. You got all the TVs and all the amenities. The food is great. They always have the coldest beer. Oh, man, it's beautiful. Chef's kiss me. Trust me. Check them out.
That's a good promo there, man. That's a very good promo.
Well, I've been there personally. It's a blast.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
So with that being said, so what did it mean to you personally to have the Chicago Bears call your name with the 27th overall pick in the first round in the NFL draft?
Well, personally, just to be drafted was just unbelievable. It was exciting. It's one of those things, man. You as you go through college and you finally realize that you might be going to the next level. You're excited. Your family's excited. Back in '88, I experienced a draft at home, and that was of course, you see now we had a party and everything, and I got to sit in my dad's favorite chair, right?
Oh,
yeah. He let me sit in his favorite chair that day. And so everybody was over. It was exciting, man. And I had my family around me and friends. And as you go through this process, they tell you, well, they think you're gonna go in the top 10. Yeah. Oh, you're excited. Well, top 10 went by. You should be coming up soon, you know. It's like
How you sweating by the
15,
phone?
you know, we on 20, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness. And 25, you know, I'm like, well, look like you know, I'm gonna be drafted in the second round here. You know, had hopes of being drafted in the first round. But lo and behold, the last pick of the first round, they drafted me. And it was just a great feeling. We got it, you know, everybody clapped, and me and my mom actually, God rest her soul, we got up and we went in the back room, and we just hugged each other and cried because it was just such a great time. And then after all of that, you know, I realized that I was drafted by the Chicago Bears. You know, the whole thing was like, you know, I just wanted to get drafted. And then it was like, oh, it's the Chicago Bears. And I knew about the Chicago Bears history, you know, with Walter Payton and Gale Sayers and the 85, you know, Super Bowl team. And, you know, I was like, wow, this is going to be very exciting. And then reality hit me that Chicago is up north, man.
Cold.
Yeah. It kind of
It's
hit
cold
different,
up
don't it?
north, man.
It
You
kind of
know,
hit
I've been
different, don't
playing.
it?
Huh?
It kind of hits different, don't it?
Yeah, it is different, man. And I was like, oh my God, you know, and I realized, okay, I talked to my dad. My dad said, son, you got enough, you have enough money now, buy you a coat. And that was it. But it was, you know, I was excited to be a Chicago Bear, and you know, never look back. Got here, man, and people welcomed me, and you know, it's been fun ever since. Still fun to be here, be in Chicago as a Chicago Bear.
Sure, your dad sound like my dad.
We got a quick question before we go off our rapid fire. Some more questions. We got to give a quick shout out to all the fans that are here tonight. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate the love and the good vibes. It's because of you we're able to have wonderful alumni guests like Mr. Davis coming in today. And if you guys keep showing the love, we'll be able to keep doing these things in the future. So we do appreciate this, you guys. We value your input. And as such, we got, you know, just give a shout out to Wid, Wanda, the Scrolls, who actually has a nice question I'm going to segue into real quick. He would like to know, he asked not too long ago, are you still involved with the organization? And he feels that you damn well should be if you want to.
Scrolls, okay, the Scrolls. All right. Well, I am involved a little bit.
Nice.
Mostly community related programs. I help out with. They have what they call a mini monsters program that goes around. I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's like this little training session that goes around the Chicagoland area for young students to talk about and to promote physical activity and healthy eating. Yes. So I'm involved with that, and also other little community projects that they do. So yeah, and then the Bears have their alumni functions, you know, that we.
All right,
I've heard about those.
Bears attend. So yeah, so yeah, good question.
Yeah, so yes, it was. Thank you, Scrolls. That was a great question. All right, Darius, you have any more questions for him?
Yeah, I have another question. It's kind of like more related to where the Bears are today. And I do understand when you were drafted, Jim Harbaugh was there a year earlier than you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, you know, being that Caleb and Rome have been drafted together this season, how was that chemistry between you and Jim? How did it work out in the beginning of your NFL career?
Yeah. Well, it had to happen kind of organically, really. It wasn't something that just sparked off right away. Because when I got there, Jim wasn't the starting quarterback. And they had Jim McMahon. I played 1 year with McMahon, and then Harbaugh stepped in, and then it was like a carousel. You had Harbaugh 1 week, and then they'll pull him and bring Tom Zach in, and Bears and our quarterbacks, man, can't get it right. But mind you that we were not really a passing team,
right?
We were not a passing. We were a great running team. I mean, we had Neil Anderson, and before that, Walter Payton. It was all based on run, and the run was set up to pass.
Mm-hmm.
But things started changing around that time, because when I was drafted, we had a draft full of wide receivers that came into the league from college. I mean, Sterling Sharp, myself. Anthony, you had a lot of guys that went first round as wide receivers, Tim Brown. And so we were coming from a passing college league, and we were coming to the NFL, and things started changing. But I say all that to say that the Bears started throwing the ball, mixing it up more.
Right.
And when they started doing that, Jim Harbaugh stepped up, and he became the guy that became the passer. And then that's when Jim and I started working together, and the chemistry started coming through that. So it took a year or two, but we finally got it.
Yeah, that 91 season was a real special one for you.
Yeah. That was a good season. Yeah, Tel Scrolls, Michael Irvin was there too, but he was.
Yeah,
it was a supplemental draft.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 91 season was real special. That was awesome. It was an awesome season.
Yeah.
All right, BJ, got a question for him? You want to go ahead?
Yes.
I can see you itching.
So it was kind of a perfect segue. So how is today's receivers, how the game is played with the receivers today different from when you played?
Probably only because the rules are a little different.
Yeah.
Back when I played, you getting off the line of scrimmage was that had to be number one, man. You couldn't get off the line of scrimmage, you're going to be on the bench. That's point blank, And I think the defensive backs, they could come up, jam you on the line. I mean, they could jam you 5 yards down the field. I mean, it was just a little different now. And not saying that it's. I mean, they're not any receivers are not any better, but it was a challenge for us to you had to really work to get off the line of scrimmage. The hitting rules were different. You can get
man, they was able to mug.
You can get hit in the head.
Yeah.
They could lead with the helmet. I mean, a lot of those things are different, but as far as the receiver position, I think just that part of the game really changed. And those guys, and as those guys, you can see how creative they are now, man.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys can make some plays out of this world, man. But I think receivers have adjusted, and they got some good ones out there, man. Yes, and they are, they are bigger, faster, stronger these days. The training regiments are totally different than our training regiment was. I'm sure if you had Jim Osborne on here, he'll tell you their training regimen was totally different than mine was.
Yeah.
We used to come in training camp just to get in shape.
Yeah.
We had guys come in training camp with beer guts, out of shape to train to get in shape. But now these guys train year round, man. Year round. And
they come in shape.
In shape.
Yeah.
Shape. And it's like
they almost have to.
Well, where you make that much money, they're gonna require you to be around the building. Yeah. No doubt.
Oh yeah. So question for you. So Could you describe to us the fine art of leaping into traffic across the middle of the field? You know, when you got like, you know, somebody like Ronnie Lott and
I like the way
Deion
you say
Sanders,
that.
you know, so you got Deion covering and you got Ronnie Lott and you coming down the middle and the fine art of being able to try to catch a high pass. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to paint a picture for people out there, you know what I'm saying? You got those two brothers colliding in on you and you got a pass in the air. And with the rules that they had back then, being able to focus on catching that ball and try to come down with it, knowing that they had one mission, which was to dislodge you from the ball by any means necessary. What was that like of being able to go in the middle, knowing that's what you had to deal with every single time? Please explain it to them because they
like I like the way you describe that, man, as a work of art.
It was because I wasn't able to do it back then.
I wish it was. It was survival, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know, you had to have the mindset. You had to have the right mindset because I mean, I've been you going across the middle, and you know, you got guys that I had to make my living going across the middle. You know, I would, like I said, I wasn't the fastest guy. I didn't get behind everybody, but sometimes I did. But I had to make my living going across the middle. And so you sit back and you take stock and you go, okay, if I go across this middle, you know, so it's either a couple things gonna happen. Either they're gonna throw the ball to you, you're gonna get hit, you're gonna catch it. Second option is you're gonna get hit. But both those options, you're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So might as well catch it. You might as well catch it.
I might as well catch it.
Yes, sir. So, and indeed you did. Indeed you did.
You got to have that mindset. That, you know, and you got to make that a long time before you start playing that game, man.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Hey, Wendell.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a run-in with old Chuck Cecil up there in Packerland?
Oh man.
Oh, that dude.
No, I didn't. Chuck and I came out Chuck and I came out the same time.
Yeah.
I think. So we kind of had a brother-in-law act going on, but
okay.
Yeah. He would hit me, but he wouldn't, you know, he wouldn't do nasty on
me. He took it light, huh?
Yeah, he did hit a couple.
No, okay. So, still there? Oh no, we got a little technical difficulties here.
Yeah, I know. In the division back in the day, them safeties, Joey Browner, Chuck Cecil.
Are you there? I think
we're here.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we talk about the safeties in the division around that time. Joey Browner.
Yeah. Joey Browner, man. That brother there, bro. Yeah, you talking about big safety?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you talking about a big safety and his brother I think he knew karate or taekwondo or something.
Yeah.
I learned, but I remember he took out one of my Anthony Morgan. I don't know you got
yes, sir. 81.
Yeah, him and Anthony Morgan got into it, and Anthony, we both walked over there. Well, I tried to just back Anthony up a little bit. Then the brother started charging us, man. And this is a big dude, man.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
I think it took both of us to try to bring him down. Yeah. But he was one of the toughest guys, man, in our division.
And they had a whole family in the league.
Yeah.
The Browner brothers, they had a whole family over there.
Yeah.
So go ahead, BJ. I thought you had a question. I saw you getting ready to ask one.
No, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I hate to bring this up, but I know the injury that we dare not speak of.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I know it took about 5 years off the career, you know, with the the non-advancements that they had back then for what they have now back then for knee surgeries and stuff, and the effect that it had on your rehab. Could you explain to us, how you know how you were able to do it, how you was able to fight through all that, through all those tough days of your rehab, what drove you to, you know, just keep fighting,
Yeah.
through all of that. Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate the question. But yeah, it was a definitely a tough time, a tough, challenging time for me to actually rupture both your patella tendons on one play, right? And so it was a challenging time. But the best thing about it was I had support around me. I was married at the time. I had 2 kids, and my wife was my biggest supporter, and my family, and so that really helped me through it. To get through that whole ordeal. But it was tough in the beginning. Having both your knees blown out at one time without even being touched. And so, it's weird when I'm laying there and the trainer comes out, and I'm there in pain, and he's asking, which knee is it? Which knee is it? And I go both.
Oh.
And he said, nah. I said, yeah, it's both knees. And so he pulled up the my knee pads, and you can see where the kneecap was just like cap had moved up. Moved up. So and they were like, yeah, you can see people saying, come on out here. But that was tough to see. I did have her. I went in the locker room, took a shower. They wrapped me up, and I actually watched the game in the tunnel. But if I watched the rest of the game, and I flew back home with the team on the plane, and flew to Northwestern. And next couple of days, I had surgery, and went through the surgery, had rehab. Rehab was brutal, but at the end of the day, I think I became a stronger person out of that. I didn't give up because I did have an opportunity to come back and play. I made the team. I made the team for the Indianapolis Colts for 1 year. Rejoined Harbaugh there, so I made the team. But I almost played in one game, but never did get back on the field. And just after that, man, I just realized I couldn't turn it over like I used to.
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, it's time to give it up, man. It's time to give it up. And it's one quick story. It's time to give it up is when we had like OTAs, so to speak, like they have now.
Yeah.
And we having our one-on-one drill, right? And you have defensive backs on one side and receivers on one side, and you having one-on-one drills, pass drills. And I see these guys over there counting. They're looking at the receivers and they counting one. Like I'm like, what are you guys doing? And so they count to see where I'm coming up in line. So they want to go against me.
They weren't picking on you.
No. Yeah, it's time to go up. It's time to get out now. Because these guys trying to make film. They trying to make. They want to go against probably the weakest link, so to speak. So
they hunting for you.
Yeah, I was like, nah, it's time to go. I can't go out like that. So after that training camp, I went up and told the guy, hey, I'm going to retire. I'm going to give it up. But
Yeah.
But yeah. But you know, like I said, I'm a better person for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you telling that story for us. I know I don't want to be the one that have to bring that up, but I had to know. You know, I had to know the inspiration behind because I was, you know what I'm saying, being young, young kid, not understanding when, you're watching it, you're not understanding what's happening. And then I remember just being upset that you worked on the team the next year. And I saw, and I see you. And at the time I didn't understand, it was because of your injury. But
yeah.
And then I see that you're a Harbaugh. So I was like, oh, I guess he just wanted to go back with his friend who's the quarterback. But I'm a young kid thinking like, oh, I guess he just wanted to go with his friend. And as I got older, I realized, looking back, I realized I was like, oh, he went through a lot. Oh man. My dad finally explained it all to me what happened, and I'm like, that's terrible. And then I was like, so I've always wondered, like, man, how did you get through it? And I'm glad you were able to tell us, because it's
grace of God, man.
Yeah. And I can play this tape back and tell my son who's in football now to be like, hey, this is what it's really all about when you hit that adversity. It is not about actually the story isn't so much about even getting back on the field. It's about not giving up. Didn't give up. And that's the part that I hung on to. So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
That daunted AstroTurf in Philly, man.
Yeah.
Man,
it claimed a ton of careers.
Yeah.
We know.
It did. And they finally, I mean, there's, in my opinion, there's no good turf surface. I mean, you can have the synthetic stuff and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it makes it a little better, but nothing better than the natural grass.
Yeah.
Were you a little leery going to Indianapolis at the time? Because I know it was a dome stadium, but they had that surface, that AstroTurf as well.
Yeah. I was. But I was also confident in my rehab, and the doctors did a good job, so I knew it would hold up. So I had confidence in it, and plus I wanted to play.
That's not. Yeah. All right, BJ, got a question, my friend?
Yeah, I have a question. So with the Bears, with their wowing receiving core that they have for this year, do you think that they have the capability of being the best receivers, the trio? But I'm thinking of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Roman Doomsday. Do you think they have the ability to be the best receiving core in Chicago Bears history?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do think they have that capability of doing that. There's a lot of talent in that room, and it's so I used to be a receiver coach in San Francisco and also in college at Columbia University, and having a receiver room, you're dealing with some big egos in that receiver room, man. Guys, and if you get a room like that Chicago Bears have, it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, guys want to perform, guys want to do well, the guys want to, play their best, and you have to be able to let each of them do that. But there's only one football. So the magic is going to happen if they have the chemistry. That's where the magic is going to happen. If they have the chemistry, everybody buy in, and they have a chemistry and everybody know what their roles are, then it could be one of the best receiver rooms, one of the best receiving corps in Chicago Bears history. Right now on paper it is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
On paper it is. But to have them work together and become a team and to, really be productive, that would have to happen. Yeah.
All right. So one more. We got a couple more questions for you. I'm gonna let Darius finish this out. But my question to you is, who in your eyes is the best NFL receiver currently right now? Who do you see at the moment is the apex alpha dog wide receivers at the moment?
One guy that I really like playing. I really like his game. And guys probably hate me for it, but Dante Adams.
I ain't mad at you.
Yeah,
He's bad, yeah.
That's a bad brother right there.
The guy is a stud, and I might be a little biased because when I was in California coaching, he was in high school with my daughter. They was at the same high school, and I got to see him play a little bit. But he was a damn good football player and almost a better basketball player. But he is one that I think is special. And then of course, Justin Jefferson being guy.
Yeah.
So I got to say he would be the next guy. And then a man from Cincinnati. Another LSU guy. I could keep going now. We got two coming into the league next year. So I don't know. Yeah, we're doing pretty good at the receiver position.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. You can't go wrong with those choices right now.
Yeah,
not go wrong with those choices. All right, Darius, you want to go ahead and
what I was going to ask is our wide receiver room is packed with talent now. But when you were playing, we had some nice young talent that you were playing with the likes of like you said, Anthony Morgan and a young Curtis Conway. How was that kind of grooming them guys and getting them prepared for the NFL, and also, just keeping the competition strong, because competition, it brings the best out of each player.
Yeah, so that was a good question. That was a fun time, and to be able to put into the younger guys, Curtis Conway and Anthony Morgan at the time, both young, talented guys, man, had a lot of ability, and they were willing to actually, soak it in. They were not fighting, advice from anybody. They were willing to really listen. And they turned out to have good careers, and that's kind of what it takes when I talk about chemistry in that room. Guys really looking at it and accepting roles. You might be in a role that you never thought you'd be in. Me in kind of middle of my career, but I knew that at some point, I was going to be a Dennis Gentry,
right?
Because Dennis Gentry was the guy that I looked up to when I got there. At some point I was going to be a Dennis Gentry, and I learned from him how to handle those situations. Right. And so when it came time for me to do it, I could do it for somebody else.
Gotcha.
It all comes down to being having that chemistry, man. I remember watching what was it, Portland Trail Blazers when they gathered all that talent together at one time with Scottie Pippen. Clyde the Drexler and all that stuff, man. Yeah. Everybody just knew they were going to the NBA Finals and going to win it, man.
Man, they had the squad. They had a squad.
They ran into that Shaq and Kobe Bulls stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's just it's the chemistry, man, the timing, and you just but yeah.
And I got a little. I'm sorry, but it's it's just so nostalgic to talk to a 90s Chicago Bears player, because that was my time.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I was really in love with the team. You know, my love grew, you know what I'm saying, around this time. And plus I had a better understanding of the game.
Yeah.
So I know we can't keep you here all night. I understand that. And you know, we appreciate the time that you're giving. But my last question, I promise. How was it playing under Coach Ditka?
That's all we need to know. You got to tell us.
How was it playing under Coach Ditka? It depends.
That's very fair.
It depends. It depends if you were in his doghouse or not.
Wow.
But the one thing is true about Coach Ditka. He was a coach that he, as a player, you know, and then becoming an assistant coach and then a head coach, he kind of knew what players go through. Yeah. He could relate, you know, and he could relate, and he liked to win. You know, everybody didn't agree with some of his antics and stuff like that, and the way that he coached. But some people did like it. Yeah. Some people did need that type of coaching. Yeah. But it was good, man. It was always exciting. Yeah. You know, it was fun. I mean, he became bigger than life here in Chicago, and you know, it kind of rubbed off. It kind of rubbed off on the team, and you know, it was interesting. It was interesting. Definitely not a dull moment.
Not very many, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely
it wasn't. Bet it wasn't, man.
No, but yeah, I enjoy. I didn't agree with everything. Yeah, but I enjoyed playing with him. I enjoyed playing for him, and it was fun, man. It definitely was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, we don't want to take up too much more of your time, Mr. Davis. We do appreciate you so very much. You're anytime you pop in anytime you want. Just you say the word.
I appreciate you guys.
Come on through. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you again, guys. Mr. Wendell.
Happy holidays, man. Happy Memorial Day, brother.
Yes. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. You have a nice night.
Take care.
Take care, sir.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right.
Man, that was cool, man.
That was.
Listen, man. Yo. That era of the Chicago Bears, we wasn't winning very much. We were competitive, but that was an exciting time for me because, like I told him, you know, I gained a much better understanding of the game around that time. Because when we won the Super Bowl in '85, I think I may have been like 6 or 7 years old.
Okay.
Right?
So and I remember understanding it.
Yeah, and I remember the buzz around that time, the Super Bowl time. And I also remember after the Super Bowl, the cartoon, the Thundercats.
Yeah.
Oh, the Thundercats. That was my show.
It debuted right after the Super Bowl.
That was my show.
Yeah.
So
that was an exciting time for me, man. I really appreciate him coming on, man.
Yeah, man. This is one of those like feel good interview moments. Thank you. Yes. Like I ain't gonna lie. I'm like that little kid in the candy store, you know what I'm saying? When he finally get like all the big, you know, all the adult size candy bars for the first time. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, you get what you want, you get all the big candy, and then they actually pay for it. You know, your grandparents pay for everything for you right away, and nobody tell you no. Oh man, that's what I felt like today. This is a good moment today, man.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed the interview today with him. It was awesome to have him on today. Yeah. Today was a good show.
100% agree. Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
This is awesome. Yes, bro. Yeah, the good old days, bro. Yeah. Man, I remember, man, it was everything tasted sweeter, you know what I'm saying? The air was cleaner, no fresher.
Well, hopefully we're moving into that direction where we can say we're back into that feeling. We get
I
that
think
feeling.
so.
I'm hoping so, brother. I'm hoping
think
so.
so. I think so,
I mean,
man.
we've been so disappointed for so long. You know,
Yeah.
we'll,
But it's
we'll have little bits and pieces where we can be happy. We're excited about the team, like a couple of seasons here, a season there. But for the vast majority of my experience has been, you know, we haven't been that good.
yeah. I mean, like I said, for us, it was just we never had everything at the right time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'd have the good coach in place, but the team was terrible. And by the time the team got good, we got rid of the good coach. So we don't got a good coach that's going to get things going. And you know what I'm saying?
I trust
We
him.
had it.
I
Go
now
ahead, go ahead.
look. Don't be hating on the age. We aging
Yeah,
like a
age.
fine wine.
Fine wine.
Yes,
Fine wine.
fine wine.
But
Yeah,
I
remember that.
think we're in good hands with Eberflus, man. I mean,
I hope.
you can't determine greatness in 2 years, man.
That's
Especially
true. That's true.
from a
Yeah,
coaching
that's true.
aspect, man. Just so many things have to go right for you to be successful.
Yeah,
And of course, you have to kind of spearhead that movement, but at the same time, you got to worry about injuries, and players got to play at the end of the day.
exactly.
You know what
And
I
I think we
mean?
got the players finally that can play. We actually
Finally got the players. Finally got the
Yeah.
players.
So I think
Finally
we got.
the players.
I might be the odd man out on it, but I honestly, like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, Evilflus has some faults, and but I love the fact that we didn't give up on him like other teams and like we've done in the past. We give up on a coach, and that said coach that we gave up on goes somewhere else, and he's successful.
But see,
Like,
more importantly, Pinky, not to cut you off. I'm sorry,
yeah.
brother.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
More importantly, those guys on the field didn't quit on him.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because
And I think that's why he's still here.
That's the determination at the end of the day if this coach is fired or not. You know what I mean? Most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, we did have another situation I dare not speak of. I'm going to let it go. It still bothers me, but I have to let it go. But most of the time, when it's shown that the players quit on the coach, it's time for everybody to quit on that coach. You know what I mean? To micromanage Evilflus and some of the decisions he made, all these coaches, no matter how great they are, they all make mistakes. But winning kind of covers up a bunch of the bull crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we just need to stick in there, man, until because the team is going to show us what direction we need to go into. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
It's so strange that we have a coach here that he can be anywhere from coach of the year to unemployed. I think that's so crazy. You know what I mean?
And of course, most of that's media driven. Like, I don't think anywhere. I think his chances of being let go, no matter what happens, is minimal. Because there's so many hidden factors, that can go in. Like, how's it going to be his fault if, I'm not, knock on wood, you know what I'm saying? Caleb goes out there and he gets hurt week 2. And then we stuck with a bunch of bums at quarterback, and we got to get some dude off the scrap heap to play hero ball for us. So it's like, yeah, we got talent, but the position we've needed the most talent, we finally have it. So, in that, saying we got the staff to finally bring that out of that, young quarterback finally. So that pressure's not on Eberflus. Eberflus is a defensive guy.
Yeah,
so
but
his job is to make sure that the offensive coordinator is putting him in a better situation, and then Eberflus being a defensive guy is going to structure their game plan of keeping him insulated until it's necessary for him to let loose. Going to make sure the defense puts him in the best. The defense and special teams is going to put him in the best situation possible for him to shine. He's going to let the offensive coordinator do his thing. About 90% of the time until there's like a situation where it's like, okay, We got a lead. We up about 3 scores. Our defense is shutting them down. It's the middle of the third quarter. I want you running the ball until they can't stop us.
Yeah.
That's going to be the game plan. And then we're going to ramp it up. We're going to sprinkle some passes in to keep you warmed up. I think he's learned how to do those things. We saw that towards the end of the season. We didn't get the results.
Yeah.
And a lot of that had to do with the fact that we weren't getting the calls, which I think will change now. I'm just throwing that out there. A lot of things that, would have bounced our way if we got them calls for getting late hits. I don't think the NFL is going to let the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft get hit like that.
Hey, he got a Bears uniform on, so hey man.
That may be so.
They not real kind to us, man.
I understand it, but if you look at the tape back in the history shown, even Tim Couch, garbage is, all the first round picks, every first round pick that has come out, even Jamarcus Russell got calls, and he was terrible. He still got calls.
He was between him and Ryan Leaf. I don't know who was worse.
But they got the call. But they got the calls. They did get the calls. They may suck, but they got the calls because they were the number 1 overall pick. Number 1 overall pick, you're gonna get some cachet.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The Bears don't get calls. The Bears don't get calls.
We've never had a first round overall pick at quarterback, though.
I mean, and you're absolutely right, Pink. But to bring it back to Flukes, man, I just believe there's a such thing as coaching maturity, man.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna be this person in 2 years. Now there are outliers, but these outliers have the personnel already. You know what I mean? And with coaching, there's a fine line between knowing your personnel and trusting your personnel. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know what you got, but as a coach, part of your job is to trust the guys that you prepare week to week. Correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah, correct.
And you also have to, you have to put these guys in position to be successful. But before you start positioning people and putting people here and there, you got to make sure that the player prepared to play mentally.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because they are human beings. They go through things. So, I guess that's part of the job. Like they say with the quarterback, you're going to get a ton of the credit, a ton of the blame. But, I just think, coaching has, it has a maturation process. You know what I mean? Like I said before, coaches make these great coaches make mistakes, but most of them are, covered up because they're winning.
Mm-hmm. So with the Bears, Eberflus is in a perfect position right now. All he has to do is get those boys ready to compete every game. As long as they are competing, whether they're winning or losing, if they're competing every single game, you can't blame the coach. You can't blame the coach. If he prepares those guys to compete every single game, mm-hmm. whether they win or lose, mm-hmm. if they're competing and giving their best, that's a sign of a good coach.
Correct.
Damn, they're a great coach. Because,
let me ask you guys something.
Yeah.
How successful do you think Andy Reid would be if he was coaching the Carolina Panthers?
Well, no, I like that question. I like. No, I get what you're saying.
It wasn't nothing against what you're saying, but this is how these people are judging these coaches. You see what I'm saying? So okay, let's put Andy Reid in Carolina. Let's see how great he'd be.
But you got to think about, if Andy Reid was in Carolina, does he draft
Bryce Young,
or does he draft C.J. Stroud? Because if you think about it, when he drafted Patrick Mahomes, nobody was considering Patrick Mahomes to go right there. Nobody was thinking about.
But he also had a playoff team with Alex Smith.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
he could afford to, like, you can have when you have a good team or a decent team, you can afford to take some risks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's just certain gambles you can afford to take compared to being Carolina or hell, even us.
Yeah.
Like let's be for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even us. You know, I just think they need to lay off Eberflus, and we all know how the media does.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how grown people allow certain images and certain things to be flown out there and be influenced by them. Now that's because for me, like that's for children. You know what I'm saying? But the person that controls the images can control all minds, I guess. Just not mine.
Right.
I just want a quick shout out. I'm gonna do this real quick. I want to make this bundle clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, get this out. Put this out here. Tracks. I know where you at, man. I know you're probably still busy at work or in that buffet line. I love you, man. I appreciate you, man. Definitely gave us the hookup tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been one heck of a show today, man. And we don't get to do these things, you know what I'm saying? If it weren't for you, calling us out, you know what I'm saying, and bringing us, hooking us up with this, you know what I'm saying, giving us the outlet to help us out with this, man. We appreciate you. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, hopefully you're not gonna be so busy, you know what I'm saying, like you always is, so you get time, you get some more time to go do some shows and stuff with us again, you know what I'm saying. So but yeah, shout out to Tracks, you know what I'm saying. We love you, big dog. All right, but just want to get that out the way real quick. Yeah, man, I agree. But to answer that question, Andy Reid with Carolina, if he had to deal with the team that they had in place to coach that team, they wouldn't be the first overall pick. But he most definitely ain't winning anytime soon with that team.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, that team is nowhere near to win.
I don't care how creative you are with an offense and with that team. That team is just bad. Now, could he have done better with the Bears? Maybe, but he has shown that he's more adaptable with quarterbacks. So maybe Bryce Young wouldn't have looked as bad as he did last year. So that would have resulted in more wins for him and more points and things like that. I think Bryce Young stat wise would have been tremendously better. He probably would have got more. He definitely would have got more than 4,000 yards under Andy Reid's influence.
Honestly, with what they were working with, man.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm taking into account of all the quarterbacks that Andy Reid has coached and watched how each one has flourished under his system and his tutelage. So, and most of them would only been on the team for like that 1 year or something. Like a Matt Castle. Matt Castle, his first year in that scheme, even though he's a backup, was called into duty, and the man over a 3-game stretch had over 700 yards. He had one touchdown to interception ratio, and he was god awful except with the Patriots. I mean, he was considered like an afterthought until he went to the Chiefs. Like,
because he was back. He was a backup.
Yeah, he was a backup. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even the backup on certain teams. He go there to Andy Reid and he has a resurgence. And
Andy Reid knows what he's doing, quarterback.
And the same with the same can be said about Alex Smith. Alex Smith was on his way to almost being a backup himself, and he has a resurgence. He has some of his best years with the Chiefs in that offense. Even
with those Chiefs teams.
His first year with the offense, in that offense, he was amazing. Another guy from a former Chicago Bear quarterback, Kyle Orton, had his best years with the Chiefs under Andy Reid. Andy Reid was the coach with him for a little bit before they got Alex Smith. So and even Kyle Orton,
was he with the Chiefs? No. Kyle Orton
he was the quarterback
with the Broncos.
Yeah, he went to the Broncos. Yeah, he went to the Broncos. Because we got him. That's when we got Jay Cutler. You remember they traded 2 quarterbacks?
Cal with the Broncos because he was traded for
Jay Cutler.
Yeah,
for Cutler.
And He did have his under Josh McDaniels over there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to go back, but you on the right track. I feel what you're saying. Right playing, wrong man, it's okay.
Same division. I think that's why.
Yeah, you're on the right track, but I do understand where you're going with it though. But prior to Andy Reid going to Kansas City, Dick Vermeil had a pretty good thing going on over there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right. You know, they had Larry Johnson, they had Priest Holmes, they had Tony Gonzalez.
The offense was pretty good. They had a really good offensive line.
They always had a great offensive line, good young defense. You know what I mean? They had a decent thing going over there.
Wasn't Trent Green the quarterback?
Yeah, but you know he got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the concussion.
Yeah, Trent got hurt and never really recovered. That's how they ended up with Matt Castle.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yep,
because you know they had Gerbach was there before them. That was a little
Gerbach. Yeah, I remember
you know what I'm
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just feel like, hey man, let's get a guy a chance. You know what I mean? He's improved the years he's been. The first 2 years he's been here, the win total has come up. You know what I'm saying? We just ain't reached the playoff yet, but progress is a process, man. And
yeah, he did play for the Chiefs. He was number 8. He was number 8 for the Chiefs. He went to the Bears. Yeah, so he went to the Bears, the Broncos, Buffalo, Chiefs, and then Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I remember. I really remember.
I remember it was the year that the Packers went 15-1. That one loss came to the Chiefs, and it was Kyle Orton that was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know he went to the Chiefs.
That's why I remember him playing for the Chiefs.
Yeah, his career, his best year came with the Broncos, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, statistically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing that Broncos and then Chiefs and then Bears. Yeah.
Because I want to say that was Brandon Marshall's last year in Denver.
Because Brandon Marshall came. No. Yeah, Brandon Marshall came the next year after Cutler came.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They traded him away the same year, so he did. Kyle Orton only had him for. Kyle Orton had him 1 year, then he went to Miami.
Yeah.
He got to Miami. Miami traded him to us the year after.
Oh, is that how it happened? No, I thought he went to Miami after us.
Mm-hmm. No. After us, he went to
New York.
Yeah, something like that.
Was it New York? Yeah, it was New York. Because he played with
he was with
Fitzmagic.
Yeah. Yeah. He actually said Fitzmagic was the best quarterback he's ever had.
Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah.
I don't believe it. I just think that I think he has bad chemistry, bad vibe with Jay Cutler, but I think him and Cutler had the best numbers.
When he said that, I was like, yeah, okay, Brandon.
Well, and I think the reason why he's saying that as far as like quarterback play, as far as being able to assimilate knowledge and understand everything, no one was more cerebral than Fitzgerald. I mean, he's an Ivy League kid. I mean, so he's mentally, he was probably the most fun to be around. You know,
and let's call a spade, man. A lot of people has this way about Jay because he was disappointing.
Like it is.
He was disappointing. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone who ever played with this guy knew he had the goods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knew he had the package, but it was disappointing to see how he carried it.
And it was the way he expressed himself. He always expressed himself like he didn't give a shit.
I kind of like that about him.
I mean,
call me crazy.
It was cool in some instances, but all the time.
I love his personality.
Because he could have got away with it if he was winning consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Like
he had the weapons to do it.
People gotta understand. Like you gotta. People also have to understand. He also was frustrated with the situation, but he was trying to not throw the organization under the bus because it was his childhood team. People gotta realize there were other teams that were better than us that he could have went to. He chose to go to Chicago because he was from Santa Claus, Indiana.
That's true.
Chicago Bears was his home. That was his favorite team growing up as a child.
That's true.
He did not want to give that up.
Yeah.
As frustrating as it was, the situations and all the stuff he was going through, he could not bring himself to give that up because he loved the Bears that much.
Mhm.
So he was wearing his frustration on his sleeves with the ownership. It wasn't the fans, it wasn't the media, it was ownership, and he couldn't just outright blame them for everything. He wanted to, but he couldn't do it, and he wouldn't do it. So he just wore the frustration on his sleeve, and it just got to a boiling point, to where it just bled out, and he started blurting it. He started getting frustrated with the media, because the media knew behind the scenes what was really going on.
Yeah.
And they knew he wouldn't say it. He was too much of a good, he was too much of a, let's face it, a know-it-all, as far because he went to Vanderbilt. They had those, he was an intelligent man, understanding the offenses the way he did. But he just couldn't bring himself to just blame the organization. He wanted to. You could tell. He did everything blaming players. He did everything he could without just outright blaming Jerry Angelo for not getting them enough help and firing people too soon.
Yeah, I honestly love Jay Cutler, man. He's my favorite Bears quarterback. Hopefully Caleb comes in and changes that. But
he will. Them records
all time Cuddy is QB1 for me in the Chicago Bears uniform for now, right? Because I felt like our at that time our defense already had the swag. We had already made a name for ourselves. Like Cutler had to bring this offense from the graveyard, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Getting him, man. Was kind of, it wasn't the buzz that this Caleb Mania situation is, but it was a big deal. Yeah. And Peter King, I remember it. Peter King, when we got Cutler, Peter King said we were going to the Super Bowl. I remember that clear as day. Peter King said the Bears are on their way to the Super Bowl. I got Chicago Bears in the Super Bowl.
And that was it. But he did have that caveat. He said if they let Cutler play his game.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him do it.
Well, I think that first year they did. And
just didn't have the weapons. We didn't have the line.
Yeah, we didn't have it. We didn't have the guys. And Johnny Knox, Bennett, great weapons. But
they weren't number ones. They weren't number ones.
Right, but we had to get
Johnny Knox was on his way until he got hurt.
We were so bad that we had to get a kick returner to be wide receiver 2. And eventually he became wide receiver 1 for a while.
Joe Hester?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's how kind of bad it got. You know what I'm saying? And that's the load that Jay had to carry.
Yeah. And that was the problem. That was people want to blame Cutler for, you had talent, you got this and that. But they had to trade for that talent. They only, and then when they, and a lot of times, a lot of guys, the people that he wanted them to draft, they didn't include him in anything either. He was the franchise quarterback, and you did not ask his opinion. They never asked his opinion about anything. They didn't talk to him about who needs to be fired and who needs to be let go. They didn't care. They just let him go because they can get the results. Not asking if, hey, Cuddy, do you want to keep this guy? The year before they got Mike Martz, he was like, don't. He was happy. And then they get rid of him. They get rid of the dude because Cutler got hurt. And I'm like, what are you guys doing?
I think he kind of felt the way because Mike Martz was the reason why they traded Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Yep, that was
one of the last.
Jay didn't want to be. Jay wanted to keep Greg because Jay was a tight end guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Jay loves his tight ends. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And when we had that dual tight end situation,
Alice,
that was Cutler's best year. And of course we didn't really have a line to keep him upright or whatever. Yeah. So it was a tough time for him, but some of the issues he caused on himself, but as far as his attitude toward
I couldn't necessarily blame him.
Yeah, as far as his demeanor, you know what I'm saying, toward the media and the outsiders, I loved it.
Yeah.
I
loved it too. Like But you got to understand, people didn't, I understood it because, I think being a competitor like I am, you get frustrated when you're putting your all into something and the people that's on the team with you aren't doing the same.
Mm-hmm. Because ultimately you're going to get the blame.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why you saw him yelling. That's why you saw him yelling at his offensive lineman. Why is he giving up? Like, I am trying to win this game. Hold your damn block. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then people are like, oh, he's just a bad teammate. No, because, you know what I'm saying? If Tom Brady did the same thing, the only difference is that he had a ring or two before he started doing it. Yeah. And he had a coach in the organization that knew what was needed. You know, so
Hell, Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday did it too.
What I'm saying, but they weren't one-sided people. That's what it was. They weren't the one-sided organization. They weren't only just focused. Angelo, fantastic at drafting defense, but he should have brought someone in there to help him with the offensive side of the board. Mm-hmm. Because had he done that, had he brought in somebody, an outside source, to at least help, draft the better offensive lineman out there or the offensive talent that was available, and not, just focus on the running backs and stuff like that and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think that the Bears would have had enough talent to have won and kept Cutler from actually getting the year that he got hurt. I think he would have had more. We wouldn't have even been in that situation where he would have got hurt, because the line would have held up. We would be more of a spread out offense. Things would have been rolling more. I think we would have kept the offensive coordinator longer than 1 year.
Yeah.
I think those things would have changed if we would have just even at a small point of having him more involved, like let him be involved in the having a say on who he liked in the draft, or what he felt the draft philosophy should be, or how the offense should be run. Mm-hmm. If we would have just done that with him, this team more than likely is a perennial playoff team. I think we would have won a Super Bowl, maybe not. And I'm not saying that we would have still got a Super Bowl or not, but I think if we would have done that, if we would have went that route with him, this team has more wins than losses, and he has a better career than what he had here in Chicago.
Imagine Cutler with Musa Muhammad, Bernard Berrian.
Yeah. Well, Musa Muhammad was only here for the money. Let's face it.
But he didn't do bad.
He produced. He produced.
Yeah, he didn't do bad here. But just imagine Jay Cutler with that.
He didn't understand that he was under the impression that, I'm coming to this offense to be, we're going to throw the ball across the yard because of Cutler. If he would have realized that, we would have been able to throw the ball around all the yard if he would have held his blocks. You know what I'm saying? He was only committed to catching the ball. And it was his attitude on the field when he wasn't getting the ball is what messed the offense up.
But I think it was his attitude toward the QB room as a whole. I think if you had
Musa Muhammad. I'm talking about Musa Muhammad's tells his demeanor on the field.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I understand what you're saying 100%. But I think Musa Muhammad's thing was he didn't respect the guys throwing the ball.
I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jake Delhomme and all that. Yeah, he was.
And when you don't respect the guys that's throwing you the ball, those things that you're speaking of right now, that's what happens.
That's true.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That. So, Moose, I liked Moose when he was here. He did what he could have done better. Yeah, and I think that was his main thing. He could be so much better if we had the right guy quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you still have to maintain your professionalism, regardless of what. But, everybody gets frustrated. They're all human, man.
Our biggest mistake was letting Alshon Jeffries walk.
Nah, I disagree with
that. because Alshon didn't want to be here.
But he only didn't want to be here is because of the way they were treating him with his contract.
Not only that, because while he was here, our quarterback room was in disarray once again because half
that too. But
half the team wanted Josh, the other half, wanted Jay, and it was just bad, And a part of the reason why, that whole thing with Trestman didn't work out because Trestman was not a leader of man, because in times like that, there has to be an adult. It has to be an adult in the room, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. The soldiers can't be running around here telling everybody what to do.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Can't let the inmates run the asylum.
Yeah, I didn't want to use that, but
Yeah.
absolutely, spot on. But just a lot of disarray, man.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
with
I
the
mean?
defense getting old.
Organizational. And to segue, I heard something. I don't know how true it is. I heard that this last year with us, that Eberflus and the OC wasn't in communication at all.
That is very true.
That will make sense. It will make sense.
Yeah,
really-
it was around week. It was around week. It was they stopped really talking to each other after the Chiefs game.
Mm.
Apparently, what
That was like
happened
week
was
3. That was like week 3 or 4.
that was week 4. So rumor has it after that big loss against the Chiefs, those two came to like button heads in the office or whatever, got really loud with each other. Getsy stormed out, left the building, left the facility, and Flus. After that, they didn't really talk much during practices. They kind of separated their practices where the offense did their thing and then Flus would do his thing, helping out with defense. He didn't really communicate with him except during time right before prep week.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really talk as much anymore. There wasn't much communication going on. That's why a lot of the times when they were having their interviews, you can tell that stuff sounded almost contradictory because they didn't talk to each other as much. But that was what the rumor mill was, that they just did not like each other after that, because I guess going into it, the game plan that Flus thought was going to happen did not happen in that game against the Chiefs. So, and it wasn't the first time that happened. So he was, in a lack of a better term, he was pissed off with Getsy.
Yeah.
So
see, now that right there, that's what we call coaching immaturity.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're at this time, what, you're a year and some change in. You know what I mean? I don't think he'll ever have that. I don't think, as long as he's head coach, that issue right there, he'll never have it again.
Yeah, because now he knows he's emboldened to probably just fire that ass and get somebody else.
I honestly feel like this because the whole talk of the offseason was not only that the Bears and Justin Fields going to be MVP candidate and the Bears were going to have this successful offense. The talk was also of Getsy becoming a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a thing where Eberflus kind of felt that Getsy was kind of gunning for him if he didn't do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
He was purposely trying to sabotage and then realized it wasn't going to work his way. And
like I said, man, I think Getsy understands you have to be a leader of men at all times. If we have a team, you my OC, BJ, you the DC, okay? If I'm the head coach, if something's not going correctly, of course we got to let the emotions kind of fill out.
Yeah.
But, we have to have a conversation because
Absolutely.
as long as we're wearing this hat, we wearing these polos with the logo on it, we're one. Because it's bad enough that the outsiders going to say what they want to say, like they've been saying for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? We have to be one. And I think Eberflus may understand that. You know what I mean? Now, so we just got to get a guy a chance, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on giving him a chance. I'm with you on that.
All right. So, we're going to leave it on that note for right now, guys. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have those pretty exciting talks today. Great interview with Wendell Davis, one and only great receiver, for Chicago Bears. Great alumni. It's been a great day today, guys. But you know what? We're going to call it a night. You know what I'm saying? So, as we always say, Chicago up, Bear down. Peace, love, guys. Please like, share, subscribe. We appreciate everybody that's been in the chats today. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy. Till
Happy
next
holidays,
time.
everybody.
Yes. Happy Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying?
Happy
Enjoy your
Memorial Day.
holiday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.